let's cover that. All right, we'll start out with invocation and pledge of allegiance. Mr. Moses, would you mind leading the invocation, please, sir?
Yes. Always remember, let's pray for one another because we don't know when it'll be our last time. Dear Lord, we want to thank you for the gathering here today, for they do for this right for the citizens of Florence. Lord, we know we can't treat everybody the same way, but still we do our best that we can do. Lord, take out and reach out to everyone family here today. Reach out and be blessed in many ways. But Lord, they want to thank you for everything that you do for us. This Lord, bless us in your name. Amen.
If you'll stand for pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so everybody's got a copy of the minutes. I'll ask if anybody has any questions about the prior minutes. I have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Second, all right, any discussion on that? If not, minutes are approved. Okay, so we're looking at PC-2026-22.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. This is a request to rezone from commercial reuse to central business district, 5 parcels located 206, 208, 210, 211, and 212 Cooker Street, identified as Florence County Tax Map numbers 974, 08, 006, 7, 8, 9, and 35. These parcels are all located on at the end, the southern end of Cooker Street, which is between Chevis Street and West Palmetto Street. They are all vacant right now, largely being used as parking lots for adjacent properties. And the most of the properties around them, as you can see, are zoned either commercial reuse, which is the purple, or central business district, which is the brown. So they're right in between both, and the request is to zone them from the commercial reuse, which is a lower impact, lower intensity commercial use, to central business district, which is a mixed use, much more, not much more, but more intense, more dense zoning district. It's the downtown district. And there's nothing specifically planned for that, but that would make open these up to be a little more flexible for redevelopment going forward. And seems kind of appropriate for what is going on in there. The future land use map has them as corridor mixed use, which is what they would be used for as well. These are some site photos of them. As you can see, they're just vacant parcels. Any redevelopment would be an improvement. So, and everything around it is former residential. It's been converted to commercial uses. And as you can see, the school for Francis Mary, and the medical school where Circle School will be just down the block from this. So that concludes staff's report.
Thank you. All right, this is a public hearing, so usually for public hearing we give 2 to 5 minutes for a response for and against. So I'll open the public hearing. If anybody has anything to say for, they can come up to the podium, give their name.
Good afternoon. I'm John DeBerry. I made the application. I think Elaine did a great job of presenting our case for us, and but I wanted to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have.
Commissioners, any questions for this gentleman?
Can you point to where Circle Park?
So you see where the King Avenue and Gregg Avenue make the semicircle there?
Oh, right here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's where the new medical facility is being built.
Okay. And then these are right here. So you don't have any. There was no use. You don't have any plans for what you plan on?
So the plans that we have don't have any current plans for these parcels at this time. All right, so the dark red right around it, those are already zoned CBD. And these are parking lots that serve those parcels. And we're in the process of trying to fix up some of those buildings there. The tenants have vacated and want to put new facades on them and invite, more activity down there. And I think it's important, this area is kind of in a donut hole because even the light shaded pink between Graham Street and Cuker and Palmetto, those buildings and uses are already operating like they're in the CBD. There's a bar in there, there's a paint store, there's a boutique. So we were just hoping to make it more consistent with everything that's going on right in that area. There's a nightclub on one side of it, Osborne's. And this would just be an opportunity to make all of that consistent, kind of a consistent area, and they'd have consistent setbacks with the other parcels and the way that all the other buildings have been built over the years.
You said it serves as parking. Is this parking hooked to other parcels or just?
Yes, sir. So it is, originally what was the Social Security office building that faces Worley Street. This is parking for that. And two of the parcels have historically been parking for medical facility on Palmetto Street where Dr. McKay used to be.
Mhm.
And so it served kind of in both directions as parking for
The
that.
parking is going away. You're going to do development? Is that what?
No, sir. For the time being, that will continue to be parking. We hope to be able to landscape that nicely and really kind of like the downtown did, make the facades of the back of the buildings on Worley Street look attractive and perform more as the entrance of the buildings to take advantage of some of that parking in there. And landscape it nicely. And then the idea is we've got a concept of a future possible another office building there if things go well with the renovation, or maybe some townhouses down in there.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hey, you say the word townhouse, I figured that's what you was gonna do in the future.
Well,
That's one purpose of, each one of those parcels, you're gonna divide it up and try to do that, right?
no, sir. So if we would not divide that up for, well, first of all, I think Elaine can correct me, but right now I think it would be appropriate for townhouses in the commercial reuse.
Yes, I think townhouses are permitted.
So I
there
don't
now.
think that, makes a difference in this request, but that is really not, originally this is a later phase of what we have in mind if things go well. And I was thinking another office building, but the city did suggest to look at, when I talked to Hannah Davis in the Downtown Development Department, she suggested that we look at the possibility of putting some housing down there.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, sir. Anybody else speak for this? Anybody here to speak opposed? If not, I'll close the public hearing and ask for discussion. Any questions? Call for the motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye. That passes. All right. Another public hearing, PC dash 2026-23. Elaine?
All right, this is a request to zone NC 15 pending annexation, a parcel located at 2711 Ascot Drive and identified as Florence County Tax Map Number 0009801-081. This is another donut hole in Windsor Forest. These addresses probably look kind of familiar. We've got several this month and several next month as well. Single-family house surrounded by houses that are already in the city, and they just want to, probably got tired of watching their neighbors get their trash picked up and want to join in that. It would be zoned NC 15, which is what everything around it is zoned, and the future land use map also has it as neighborhood conservation, so everything is in keeping. There'd be no changes to it, and as you can see, it's a single-family house. So that concludes staff's report.
Okay. All right, I'll open the public meeting. Anybody here to speak on behalf of this proposal? Hearing none, anybody against it? I'll close the public hearing and call for a motion.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, PC-2026-26. I'm sorry, excuse me. PC-2026-25.
Right, because 24 has been deferred for next month. This is a request to rezone from NC 6.2 to NC 6.3, 18 parcels located on North Aiken Drive. I'm not going to read all 18 tax map numbers. Here's the addresses and the tax map numbers. They're all sequential on the, located along North Aiken Drive, which is a small residential area on the north side of West Evans Street. And as you can see here, here they are. And they were developed in the 1950s. These houses were built, and because there is a single-family house on each of them. And it is a residential donut hole surrounded by commercial, general commercial all around it. And the request is to rezone it from the NC 6.2, which only allows single-family and duplexes, to NC 6.3 in order to give the developer the option of developing single-family, duplexes, townhouses, multifamily, whatever works out, whatever the market would work out. They just would like to have that flexibility. And we did have one of the other property owners, one of the few that are left, was interested in that and just wanted to make sure, that this was a quality development. And as I told him, that's not what this is for at this stage, that that would come under any redevelopment at a later date, because these lots would obviously have to be recombined and re-subdivided to accommodate whatever the development was. But at this point, for tonight, we're just looking at rezoning it from the NC 6.2 to the NC 6.3. And here's some pictures. As I said, they're older houses built in the 1950s, and they're all rentals at the moment. I don't believe there's any owner-occupied houses there. So that concludes staff's report.
Okay. I'll open the public hearing. Anybody for or against this proposal? Come up to the podium, sir. State your name.
Good afternoon. My name is Harvey Frierson, and I'm on the end there, which is not listed on the map there in regards to changes. And I am listening to so far what's going on with the townhouses. And I'm like, Mr. Akins, years back, in 1950, he developed that area. And my concern in 2026 is concerned about 2046. You coming in or changing up, modifying the neighborhood. If so, you should be able to afford it. And my concern was that if they're going to plan, I'm going to bring it to your attention now that street lights should be your part of that planning, sidewalks from Evans Street to Evans Street, or back of the property is railroads. And right now, we're experiencing foxes and coyotes coming into the area. And that should be a concern also. And Florence itself is growing, yet nobody mentioned the senior citizens. So if they're going to buy that property, I would like to see some senior citizen living in that area. Now, when you grow old, you're going to be young. What about a playground for the children? So those are my concern. If that's intact with the planning, I have no problem. But right now, I want it to be known that this is what some of the residents who's not on that map is concerned about. And again, thank you for your opportunity to express my concern.
Okay. Any questions for this gentleman?
What house do you live in, sir?
I live in the first house next to the, I think it's A&T building. I've been there perhaps about 20 years, 25 years.
So is your house,
The first one, the blue house. Yes, sir.
it's in this proposed change?
No. In fact,
You're outside of that?
yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be affected also.
If you look at this zoning map, his is the first yellow parcel next to the orange on the right, where the pie-shaped parcels. It's tax map number 006.
Okay. That's near the AT&T?
Yes, sir. Next door to you.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And your concern is basically about future use?
Yes, sir.
That's what you're voicing an opinion on?
Yes, sir. Sidewalks, senior living, playground for the children, or a shield against the railroad track or ownership for drifters as well as wild animals.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any other questions? You good?
I would need to recuse myself from this because I do have interest in this project.
Okay. So we just can't have your vote. All right.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Anyone else here to speak on this proposal?
Oh, would I be able to speak on the proposal? Or what does the,
If you would,
okay.
you'd have to go out there and, yeah, as a,
Point
As
of
a-
order, Mr. Lane.
The audience for this particular case, yes.
Point of order. Because she's reclused herself, that only gives us 4 people.
That's
So
okay.
so we can still vote.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As long as you start the meeting with the quorum, everything's good.
yes, ma'am, state your name.
My name is Xavier Sams, and I have an interest in this project. This current project, the owner has other rentals, and as part of the ECHO program, which also helps those who with domestic violence, they also assist veterans and seniors in those rentals. Because this property is very dated, the solution would not be to renovate, it would be to have an effective living. They currently have different things going on with them where tearing down would be more effective as far as windows, cost effective, and different things like that. So as far as building back, rezoning to NC 6.3 would give it more flexibility to build different things back there. In talking with Housing Authority and also some of the city council who is also excited about this project as well, they mentioned that there is not a lot of affordable housing for senior citizens and for those who want to have some type of, when you have affordable housing, they're looked at in a negative type of way. So rebuilding these homes to have, I'm not gonna say upscale, but to have different amenities that they would actually enjoy when these are gonna be rebuilt back.
What else is in this area around these? Can you comment on that? Maybe you can.
Terminex was on the corner. You have a CPA building. It's right. I can't reach it because I'm short. But at the very beginning, right here, you have a lot of different offices there as well. And in front of it is the old health department. You can't even see these homes from Evans Street. You have to literally drive in there in order to see it.
There's commercial rented already.
Yeah.
And you call that the ECHO? What did you call it?
ECHO is a program for different individuals who need housing,
Okay.
affordable housing.
And you also mentioned veterans too, work with veterans, put
It
placement.
would be veterans placements. They already working with the veterans. They work with senior citizens, and they work with low income, also considering housing authority as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So that would sort of address some of the things previous gentleman was speaking about?
As the senior citizen population, that is something that is noted. And looking at some of the different floor plans that is being visited, that's why they have decided to do 2 primary bedrooms if they were to rebuild, being that if there was a senior citizen who wanted to rent these, they would be accommodated on the first floor. A lot of homes are now, as a realtor here in Florence, are going to multi-generational homes just to offset the cost of housing. So we lack a lot of affordable 4-bedroom homes in Florence versus going back with the current one, which has 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom.
Okay. Any other questions?
Now, he addressed the issue about sidewalks, being city citizen, are y'all planning on putting sidewalks there for them also, so they can walk around that circle?
That has not been discussed as part of development when it comes to zoning. So right now, it's just in the rezoning phase.
That will be addressed, Elaine, that would be addressed for, in future
Yeah, I think it depends on the scale.
layout, scale, gotcha, right.
Development. It may
Yeah.
require sidewalks,
Right.
it may not, but it depends on the scale of the development.
But there's rules and regulations, there's rules and regulations you have to follow.
And that is a DOT road, it's not a city road.
So you planning on putting back single-family living homes? You just, because that's what's down back there now, right?
It has been discussed to add townhomes.
And you gonna do single-family homes also, or just gonna do town?
It would be townhomes,
Whole thing to town?
all townhomes.
Any other comments, questions for this young lady?
So where will you put the, east lot, gonna be, have a townhouse, that's what you have?
So after zoning, what was also discussed because of the setbacks, it would have to come back and have, each parcel would have to be resurveyed. So some of the parcels may have to be combined because the setbacks and they're also, the lots are shaped funny.
Yeah, I see.
Yep.
Front is narrow and back is wide. That's what it is, the back is wide, the front is narrow. That's what you got.
And it's on 2 sides of the street. So on the inside is a pie shaped. On the outside is actually, you could do more with it, but the pie shape is the one that's gonna limit everything.
All townhouses. All townhouses,
Yes, sir.
no single family.
No single family. And the reason being is that you can put more affordable housing as townhomes to accommodate the growth of Florence.
You put elevators in it because you got townhouses, you have to have, stairs and all, right?
You would have to have stairs in there.
That won't be good for senior citizens, would it?
Well, that's why there are 2 primary bedrooms, one on the first floor, or 2 bedrooms on the first floor, 2 bedrooms on the top floor. We're focusing on multi-generational as well. So it's a mixture of everybody.
That's all I got.
All right. No. Any other questions for her? All right, okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm gonna close the public meeting now. Any discussion? Before, any discussion at all, guys?
Can we reopen the public hearing or it's closed?
That's up to the chairman. That's chairman. We've heard both sides, get both sides equal amount of time. So if there's no discussion amongst us, I'll call for a motion.
Move for adoption.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, PC-2026-26.
And one point of order before we move on,
Yep.
the deferral of the Stratton Drive case, if you wouldn't mind bringing that to vote, just to defer it so it carries forward to the
Okay.
next agenda. Sorry.
All right,
Make a motion to defer.
Second.
all right.
Very good.
It's deferred.
Yeah, and everybody votes. Okay, very good. It's deferred.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah,
All right.
We're official. Good. make sure everything's official. So, this is an amendment to, a proposed amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance regarding noise and vibration regulations. And this one's a little different in that this proposal would remove the noise ordinance section from the Unified Development Ordinance, which is the zoning code that Planning Commission recommends on. But we have existing code also in the Code of Ordinances, which City Council takes action on. And we want to, one, put it all in one place so that it's easy for the public and for our police department who's enforcing this to comprehend and to use, so it's all in one place. So we are proposing that it be removed from the Unified Development Ordinance, and the key pieces of that be combined into the existing code in the Code of Ordinances. So Planning Commission, if they choose to, would be taking action to remove it from the Unified Development Ordinance, but that would be contingent, I think, on it being placed into the Code of Ordinances by City Council. And this was brought to us by a member of City Council, and it kind of started with a recommendation to extend. Right now, there's different decibel levels, which I'll go over here in a second, for commercial districts and residential districts, but based on decibel levels, that they have to be reduced to a certain time or a certain level, currently at 10 p.m. In our commercial districts, and it was proposed that be extended to 11 p.m. And that changes in here as a proposal, but also staff took it a step further and wanted, while we're touching the noise ordinance, we wanted to combine it all into one easy to use document. So all of that was in your packet. But essentially, we put in the packet what the current Unified Development Ordinance has in it, and that's showing as struck through in this because it would be removed. The key parts of this code are the decibel levels. That is not currently in the Code of Ordinances, but we thought it was important to tie that, the sound to a measure, that a meter that we could actually, that'll hold up in court, or even if the police just go out there and they have that decibel meter and they can say, hey, it's exceeding that, would you quieten down? Because everything doesn't end up in court, but they can just get folks to instantly quieten down. But I did want to show the Code of Ordinances are also in here. This is what City Council would have control over. These first 12 items, the 10-9 and 10-10, and the first 12 items would remain unchanged. That's as it currently reads in the Code of Ordinances. But then starting with 14 is where we start the incorporation of the Unified Development Ordinance. We took language specific to schools out of the UDO and incorporated it so that between 7 and 4 people can't be making noise outside of schools. And then we added number 17, which has to do with recreational motorized vehicles, four-wheelers and go-karts and things like that, that they can't be making certain noise levels in neighborhoods and such. And then under the exceptions, we incorporated some of the exceptions that were in the Unified Development Ordinance, or all of the exceptions actually, such as construction activities, and that's outlined up in 10-10. It has certain time requirements on that. So you can perform construction in the city, and the noise is accepted to that basically during the daytime hours, as is acceptable. Also, the noise emanating from that's temporary in nature, like landscaping, blowers, lawnmowers, and things. We all expect temporary noises from that within our residential and commercial areas, as well as agricultural equipment in the appropriate agriculture zoning district. Also emergency warning devices, that's your police cars, ambulances, fire trucks, and also the events, that was already in there, but things like the Pecan Festival or special events that we held downtown, but we did add some times to that. because even though the city says it's okay, we should still follow some rules. So we put from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. That doesn't give the city free will to go out there and run the Pecan Festival till 2 in the morning or anything. So we did put some times in there. And then we made reference to the appropriate section in the Unified Development Ordinance there. And then everything in the black font there is already existing in the code. And then these are all the sections regarding the decibel levels and the times that was taken from the Unified Development Ordinance and placed in there. The changes from the Unified Development Ordinance to this document are that first section there, the 1 through 4, the prima facie violation, and that establishes for the codes enforcement or the police department who's on the scene, a way to actually show that there's a violation. It says that they have to have a meter, a decibel meter. It tells the scale by which it's measured. It's got the American National Standards Institute, or ANSI, that the meter itself has to be certified by. And it tells where it needs to be taken at a reasonable location on the property where the sound is occurring. So, if I call that that I'm in my living room and I can hear my neighbor's kid playing the drums, then they basically need to come onto my property at a reasonable location and show that decibel level. They don't need to go onto the neighbor's property to do that. So it establishes things like that. The one change is that, from 7 to 10 in residential districts, it has the different decibel levels, and then in the commercial districts, it's from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. And just to give you I might have lost my sheet of paper here, but the decibel, there it is. So to give you a gauge for decibel levels, and this is this is a logarithmic scale. So, from 55 to 60 is a huge increase. But, a normal conversation, kind of with some background music, if you're in a doctor's office or something like that, would be around 60 decibels. So that's just kind of normal conversation, normal kind of chatter. If you're and that's more in the range of what's acceptable in residential areas. But then if you go up to commercial areas in that 75 range during the daytime, it's talking about a vacuum cleaner. You remember when you were a kid watching cartoons and your mom was trying to vacuum and you couldn't hear the TV? That's the kind of noise that is that level of noise. And then at night, it would be expected to be 70 decibels, which is more like office noise or inside of a car at about 60 miles per hour or so. So it's that kind of noise. And then industrial areas have a different decibel level, but it's even quieter at night because most industries tend to shut down at night, and we don't have a ton of industrial areas within the city. But we did incorporate that chart with the change times into the proposal within the Code of Ordinances, and we also incorporated some of the other language about proposed barriers or structures that could be incorporated, and also section 10-XX there. I put an XX because we haven't assigned that a number in the Code of Ordinances yet, but the Code of Ordinances didn't have anything referring to vibrations, but the Unified Development Ordinance did, so we took that section and put it in there as well. So that outlines some of the proposed changes, and Planning Commission, I think if they choose to move forward with this, would propose to remove it from the UDO and then give council the ability to add it to the Code of Ordinances here. So, and that concludes staff's report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a question on the decibels. I have a problem with decibels. So I'll tell you right now, if me and Mr. Moser are outside having a barbecue at his house and we have our wives there or kids, grandkids, whatever, you will exceed every decibel you have there, without question. All right? So I have a very sensitive, when it comes to decibel readings in Georgetown County, and I've actually proved my point, all right? this is too restrictive in my mind. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's too restrictive, and I'll tell you, I know at least one, the city council members, I don't know what's going on with them, but, I don't think that, when you start limiting, common sense, and a police officer comes out and does this stuff, and you start putting decibels behind it, decibels, you'd be surprised, in a normal conversation, how you will exceed some of those that you guys come up with. So, that was what I had to say. Any other comments or questions for Jerry?
I'm with the same thing also because if a police can come in my yard, tell what's going on in the next yard, then we're gonna have a lot of fines with coming to the personal stuff. And then I see where you talk about that, take like downtown, you have you after 5. And it's after 7 o'clock, am I right? I think it's over at 8.
Yeah,
And you exceed that, that's because you got a band playing,
yeah. Well, for city events, it would be till 10 p.m., so,
10
yeah,
p.m.
which would align with, we would actually be ahead of what's
About
proposed.
12 o'clock? Where's that 12 o'clock at?
We're proposing 11 p.m. for the downtown area in general for businesses but for city events, it would be
But
10.
why this unified district is so strict with the city of Florence? We got this unified district, they're strict with a lot of things here in Florence. We let them have their way to run Florence. And this is part of it right here. But see, that unified district, we got to do something about unified. I think that unified district is getting way out of hand.
Well, are there any decibels currently in ordinances?
It's currently in the Unified Development Ordinance. We
Right,
currently have
but
that.
at what levels? What's
These
changed?
levels, I
These
didn't change,
levels.
I did not change the levels. That's what's currently on the books.
Right.
I didn't touch that at all.
I wouldn't feel comfortable voting on any of this until I actually see the decibel monitor and I know what 70 decibels is, what 80 is. I get your point of saying us having a conversation is 60. If that's 60, how is 80? I don't know.
So
And
you
I
want a
know.
demonstration?
Well, yeah, I feel like because I feel like, I get college football, they're like 120 decibels. So if us having a conversation is 60 and that's 120, I don't feel comfortable knowing that I would understand exactly what 70 and 80 is. I think that you do need to have some type of regulations and parameters on what is too loud and what's not loud enough. But me personally, I couldn't sign off on anything until I actually saw the decibel meter and saw how it
Well,
worked.
right now, so who has control? So you mentioned they're two separate, so who enforces each one?
That's why it's code. The police have authority to enforce any of it,
Any of it,
and codes enforcement division assist us with that typically. And this is very complaint driven. This is not something we go out and find. I mean that's just
Well,
full
okay,
honesty on that. We don't. The police department does not go out searching for loud noises to throw fines and throw tickets at people. But when it's complaint driven, we do have to respond.
I got you. But very specifically, the question I have, combining these, what more restrictiveness are you adding, or if any? All you're doing is extending the time, right?
That's right.
When I read through
There's
all of
really
this-
no change. It's just making it easier for the public and for our officers and us in planning and zoning to have all in one place. It always used to reside in the Code of Ordinances. When we adopted the new Unified Development Ordinance,
Right.
it had the noise section in it. We adopted that as part of it, but as we've applied it, it gets a little confusing. There's a little bit of contradiction
Right.
in it.
That's right. So the four-wheelers and the go-karts and all that, explain that to me a little bit more. What are you referring to?
It's, so no person shall operate or cause to operate any recreational motorized vehicle on a public right-of-way or a private property in a manner that emitted sound levels exceeding 40 decibels at or across the boundary of a property receiving the noise. And so it's essentially saying you can't run
And
go-karts.
that's in it currently, or is that added?
That's in the Unified Development Ordinance
That's
currently.
UDO currently, right?
Yeah. And we are open to any recommendations coming from Planning Commission to move forward, or
I
if
have
we
a-
need to have a demonstration.
I have a question. Where are the most complaints coming from regarding this in this district?
In our central business district, in our downtown area.
Sure, you have a few people outlined that call with, you know,
Yeah.
a loud burp or something, you know,
Yeah.
just.
Occasionally, we get construction complaints from projects going on, you know, or pumps that might run at night in certain areas, you know, throughout the city at various places. But for mostly it's within our downtown district or potentially within some of our commercial districts where, you know, a bar or a nightclub backs up to a neighborhood.
And you're adding vibration on this one, right?
Vibration's currently in the Unified Development Ordinance. It would just get moved over. Yeah.
So
So
you're
if-
basically just giving city council control.
Well, they have control over ultimately,
I
they
got
vote
you.
on the Unified Development Ordinance too, but it would be without Planning Commission's recommendation, yeah.
So Ventura Court is also in the city, and over there, when the band is practicing at Wilson High School, that's a lot of decibels. But it's recreational, of course, it's extracurricular activities. Let's say a resident on Ventura Court called to complain on the band. What would that look like?
They take that decibel meter out.
Well, technically the band is
Be a
in
mess.
Wilson is in the county. It's not in the city, right?
But you can,
Wilson's in the city.
you can hear it in the
Yeah.
neighborhood through the trees. I loved hearing it. Yeah, but you may have someone who wouldn't.
I think we'd be forced to deal with it based on the codes we have on the books.
On the current stuff. I think all this is doing is just taking it out of our hands. We have no say in it. What the city council ultimately has you know, they are elected leaders, all right? So,
Right.
but it combines everything, and we don't, that's not in our purview anymore. Is that correct? That's what we're doing here, right? Mm-hmm. Now, they would have to take away or amend or add whatever they wanted. But you couldn't crank up a four-wheeler anywhere else currently in the city. I mean, if somebody pressed it, you know what I mean? There's, and I understand that. If I'm trying to sleep and I work third shift, you know,
And a
I get
dirt
it.
bike comes
I
speeding
get it. I get it. You know, or if I'm downtown and, you know, wherever and the band's kicking up, I get it. So I think I think if you're an elected official, there's consequences to what you do and what you don't, and that's what elections are for. But I think that personally, I don't like any restrictions at all, but they're already there. So I think elected officials should be able to make the ultimate decision on that because their constituents are voting for them. We're just a recommended body to begin with, you know. So I get your point too, my man. I completely, you know, listen, from 60 to 80, it's graduated. What he means is when you're talking like this and it keeps going up, it's like a 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1 that goes up higher for here, you know. But it ain't much. I'm telling you, it's not much. So anyway, any other discussion or any other comments? What do y'all?
We have to agree on this to send it back to city council. We'll defer to tell the city council to come back with some more information about decimal meters and stuff.
Well, I mean, I think.
Do it that way?
I think you need to take action on it, either for or against it, or you could defer it, or you could defer it and ask staff, you know, to do more research in a certain area if we need that. I mean, I think there's multiple options.
I mean,
Chairman,
I
I don't-
read through all of it, and when I read through some of it, I'm going, this stuff's already in effect. I'm going, Jesus,
Yeah.
this is already in the books of law, you know, so reading
And I
that stuff, I had no idea.
See, that's why they're changing it.
Well, no, they're not changing, they're extending some of the hours, but this stuff is gonna be in effect one way or the other. It's already in effect. They're just trying to combine it under one.
We are.
You know,
And I
instead
guess-
of us being involved recommending.
We
it.
are. Luckily, we don't have to enforce this very much. I mean,
Right.
it doesn't come
that
to
was my
light,
next
but if
point.
it did, we would have to because it's on the record.
That was my next point is how we don't have to enforce it. It's just a rule.
That's right. It's very complaint driven.
I mean, I think you're cleaning it up a good bit, right, before when you combine this.
That's right. We're
That's
trying-
the other thing, too, it's being cleaned up.
We're trying to clean
Combined.
it up. That's right, yeah.
So all the rules are basically there. You only extend it 1 hour. So these rules are already in place. Nothing we can do about that, right?
That's right.
So
Defining them a little
Well,
bit
you-
more.
As a planning commission, you can
we
recommend
we can
changes.
take the bull by the horns and
Yeah, we could.
go at it.
What we need to do, because these, let them come make me some more decimals, won't it? Be higher and stuff. We just don't go ahead and put it in there.
I got you.
Because they open the door for us. And let's keep that door open while we can, until they come up with something else. You know, they open the door,
All right, do we have a motion?
that much more different.
Motion to divert. We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's deferred.
Okay.
I think we just get a little more, background and being comfortable with it and.
Okay, and that'll give planning commission some extra time to review what's in place and,
So let me ask you
do your own
this,
research
if
as
we
well.
come back, like Mr. Moses, I think I get what he's saying, how could some of this be changed by us? If we make a recommendation that things are changed, is that the way it works? I mean,
I think because it's tied currently to the UDO,
Right.
I think that does give you guys some say-so in it. And what I would do is I would take any recommendations that are made in your motion for this and put it in the staff report and present it to city council at that time. Yeah. And I think that would be good. I mean,
Right.
I think it's a good opportunity. As Mr. Moses said, we've opened the door. And we kind of thought this might happen, that planning commission might have some say-so in it. And for you guys to have some input in it and have some recommendations.
so,
going
Mr.
forward.
So the motion you made, we all approved. Can we just add to that motion of what we're talking
That's
about?
up to you,
Okay.
Chairman, to make it to carry. Yeah.
I'd like to add to the motion, Mr. Moses, and everybody voted for, what's some of the things, if Jerry can just list them out, that we want to look at. Now, I, for one, 60, 80 decibels, I mean, that's me and him, having a conversation about football, and that's, that can get a little, I mean, you're in violation, you know what I mean? And so what would anybody want to suggest?
But what we need to do, we need to figure about what's the decibels, we got to come up on that. We got to be educated on that, that's number one. And then we as a group, I think we as a group need to get together and
Sure.
discuss.
Well, how about a staff comes back to us with examples of, Jerry, I don't know how else to do it. It's just sound and decibels.
Yeah, we can do two things. We can look and see what other municipalities have in
Okay.
place as far as decibel levels. So we can put that in a chart so you guys can see what other places have
Right.
that do it by decibels. And we could possibly also do a demonstration where we might bring in a decibel meter and have some sounds and show y'all what that looks like.
We'd like to add
sounds
that.
like.
Yes.
I would like to add
Right.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. That way everybody hears it firsthand.
Yeah.
Anybody that's having comments, or we good on that? Let's get one, say something.
They got that door open, let's don't close it.
Sure, I understand.
So let me get this straight. Ultimately, the Unified Development Ordinance, the ultimate goal is to move it into the Code of Ordinances, which would take it away from this committee.
It would take it out of the zoning code and put it in
put
the
it into
code of
the
ordinances.
Code of Ordinances.
That's right.
Which would be, well, everything's governed by the city council.
Yeah.
But it would just go straight to city council. Is that right?
That's right, that's right. And to be honest, it is most municipalities and counties, noise ordinances are housed in the code of ordinances. It's just, these bits and pieces of it got put in the new code when we adopted it, yeah. So in most places, that is where it resides. So we thought it best to just combine it in that category there.
Okay. So if we could kind of chisel at it while we got a chance, this would be a good
Yeah.
opportunity to do it.
I also would like to add other municipalities, their decibel ordinances, well, not decibel ordinance, the same thing.
The amounts. The amounts of,
Yeah, sure thing, yeah.
their version of this.
the upper limits of the decibels and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure thing. We've looked at a good many, and we can organize that into a little chart.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys? Nothing.
We'll get a hearing test to do these decibels.
That's right.
I know, I can't hear as well as I used to, probably because of some of these loud noises.
That's right. It's the low vibrations, Jerry.
That's
All right. Thank you, guys. Okay. So, let's do PC-2026-27.
Do we have to vote on that to defer?
Oh, we added it.
Yeah, we voted.
We already voted and further, we added it.
Yeah, and then I just got some direction from planning commission. Yeah.
All right. How is everybody?
Good.
Live it now. Let's go.
Over the next 45 minutes, I'd like to explain the Palm subdivision. No, this is the Palm subdivision sketch plan. If this looks familiar, this was approved by Planning Commission back in 2023. Back then, we were looking at 179 total lots, higher density. The developer is coming back with a different product than what we've typically seen on the market right now. So it will be 39 lots as opposed to the 179. So here's a location map. Everything's zoned RG2. It is historically the Oakdale Golf Course. So this is an infill development around existing single-family detached homes, and that is what is proposed. So here's the sketch plan. I printed out the latest and greatest. So they are looking for a conventional single-family type development. In the staff report, we said 42 were shown. It got reconfigured a little bit just to make sure we were meeting all the minimum lot widths and lot areas for the RG2 subdivision. And those are 80-foot lot widths and 10,000 square feet, which is what is shown in the sketch plan now. So the setbacks that will be observed will be 25 feet in the front, 8 feet on the side, 12 feet for street side, and 25 feet in the rear. Water is available to the property. Sewer is not. The individuals, when they build the homes, will request from SCDES, which used to be DHEC, to have septic tanks installed. So no new infrastructure will be installed by the developer. City water and stormwater infrastructure is already in place. Compliance will still do inspections along the way. The proposed subdivision does not require a traffic study. It is under the 50 lot threshold. We just asked the engineer to kind of clean up some of the parcels shown to show what was proposed versus what was existing, and we feel he's done a good job of that. Staff erroneously thought that with the first sketch plan, they were using Lake Oakdale to get density bonuses from preserving the open space. Lake Oakdale is still going to be preserved. It's still in the hands of the homeowners association. The developer just feels that it's the right time in the market for maybe some larger parcels and to give a little more choice to the citizens of Florence for different housing products. So the engineer did turn in a revised set of plans, which is what's in front of you now, and it does meet all the guidelines of the Unified Development Ordinance. So that concludes staff's report.
Okay. All right, this is not a public hearing. Any questions for staff?
So you said it went from 42 to 39?
Yep.
Right. We just, I think it was just a choice of the engineer and the developer. It was not anything mandated by the city. They were meeting the minimum standards that are required in the RG2.
So bigger lots, single-family homes, Mr. Moses.
These are generous sized lots.
These are very generous sized lots.
All right, any other questions?
Essentially, it would get rid of the golf course itself, right?
Right, the infill development, yes, sir.
Golf courses, no more.
Yes, not being used.
Any other questions, comments? All right, I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to be approved.
All right, second.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Second.
All right, that's done. Motion to adjourn is good to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank y'all.
I mean, I get it. Like I said, you gotta have some sort of,
Keith.
some sort of parameter, but it's just like
Sure.
60. Excuse me.